Hello students, very good morning. So today in this video I am going to start with a new chapter, that is Kingdom Animalia. So you know that we have completed the Kingdom Plantae, isn't it? So in this video I am going to explain about the general characters of animals and basis for classification of animals. Okay. So you know that the syllabus that has been cut down, 30% of the syllabus that has been cut down. So but ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್. ಸೊ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಎಂಜಿಯೋಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದು ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ಕಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಥರ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ದ ವೆಯ್ಟೇಜ್ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಚೇಂಜ್, ಅದು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ತೆಗೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸನ್ನು ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ 30% ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಓವರಾಲ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇನ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಿ ಯು ಸಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಇನ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪಿ ಯು ಸಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಬಟ್ ಈ ಚಾಪ್ಟ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಥರ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಥರ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ಸ್ನ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಆನಿಮೇಲಿಯಾ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿ ದ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಆನಿಮೇಲಿಯಾ is also known as metazoa. The kingdom Animalia is also known as metazoa. Okay, similarly the kingdom Plantae is also called as metaphyta. Okay, so there are nearly lots of millions of species of animals that can be seen on the earth's surface. Nearly around 8.7 million species of animals that can be seen on earth's surface. Nearly around 8.7 million species of animals that can be seen on the earth's surface. And you should know what are the animals and what are the different characters of the animals. Okay, okay, so ಏನಿಲ್ಲಿ animal ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ animal where anima. Okay, so where here the that mainly indicates breath or soul. Okay, or air or breath or soul, that indicates. Okay, so then what are the characteristic feature of an animal that differs from the kingdom Plantae? You know there are 5 kingdoms. Among that we have completed Monera, Protista, then kingdom Plantae and Mycota. Now we are left with only one kingdom, that is kingdom Animalia. Okay, see, animals, they have been evolved on the earth's surface. So billions of years ago, or nearly around 800 million years ago, the animals have been evolved. The ancestors for the animals, they were thought to be the protist. Okay, you know protista organisms. So those organisms are considered as the ancestors for the animal evolution. And the evolution of the animals is said to be monophyletic in origin. Monophyletic in origin. Monophyletic origin ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಆನ್ಸೆಸ್ಟರ್ ಇಂದ ಆರಿಜಿನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ದ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎವಾಲ್ವ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊಟಿಸ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಪ್ರೊಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಎವಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಆರಿಜಿನ್ ಎವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಮಾನೋಫೈಲೆಟಿಕ್ ಇನ್ ಆರಿಜಿನ್. ಪಾಲಿಫೈಲೆಟಿಕ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ಸೆಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ, ಬಟ್ ಮಾನೋಫೈಲೆಟಿಕ್ ಆರಿಜಿನ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ so they have evolved from a common ancestor, and it is thought to be a colonial protist, a motile colonial protist. Motile ಆಗಿರಂತ colonial organization ಇರಂತ colonial protist ಇಂದ animals evolve ಆಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು thought. Okay, so what are the general features of an animal? Animal ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನು features ಇರುತ್ತೆ? You know that all animals are eukaryotic in nature. So no doubt in that the only prokaryotic kingdom that is nothing but the Protista. Okay, sorry, not Protista, it is Monera. That is the prokaryotic kingdom. But all other kingdoms, as you know, they are the eukaryotic kingdoms, isn't it? Similarly, all animals are eukaryotic in nature. All animals are eukaryotic in nature. Okay, and another thing, animals are multicellular. Animals are multicellular. Animals are eukaryotic multicellular organisms. Okay, so then all animals are heterotrophic in nature. So no animal is reported to photosynthesize. Because all animals are heterotrophic in nature, it has to depend on the other organisms, especially the plants, or directly or indirectly. So they have main mode of nutrition, ingestion or absorption mode of nutrition, that can be seen. So where they do not able to photosynthesize, hence all animals are heterotrophic in nature. Okay, and another thing, the common property of an animal, the animals will show locomotion. The animals will show locomotion because as they are heterotrophic in nature, you know, they has to find the food, they has to move in search of the food. Hence the animals are provided with the locomotory structures, whatever it may be the locomotory structures. So but the animals has to move in search of a food or in search of a shelter. Okay, so that the animals are provided with a locomotion, locomotory organs. Animals are motile in nature, they are mobile, they are motile in nature. Okay, so then similarly, the animals show sensory organs. The animals will show sensory organs. Okay, so because the sensory organs are very much necessary in order to sense or in order to see or in order to move, they require sensory organs. It is very much necessary as they are moving from one place to another place, so in moving in a particular direction, so they need a sensory organs, okay, like visualizing structures, or they have to taste the food, what the food they are eating or what the food they are taking. So then tasting of the food, so if we touch any animal, so that is having a sense of touch, isn't it? So especially the animals, they have sensory organs, most of the animals, okay, they are provided with the sensory organs. So these are some basic characters of the animals. But advanced animals anta bandaga, where we can see excretory system, nervous system, then circulatory system, so all those things that can be seen, which is not seen or which is not present in any other groups of the plants, where other groups of the organisms, okay, it may be plants or it may be fungi or it may be other organisms. So where especially the animals, the advanced animals or the higher animals, they are showing all different kinds of organ systems, isn't it? Excretory, then circulatory, then digestive system, nervous system, okay, so and endocrine system. So all these systems which are found in the higher animals. Okay, but basically animals anta bandaga eukaryotic multicellular organisms, heterotrophic, the major mode of nutrition is heterotrophic mode of nutrition, then they show locomotion, then sensory organs, okay, they show reproduction, okay, and they show two kinds of development, like direct development or indirect development. Andre reproduction agi larva bandu, between, that larva and adult there are two stages. Larva formation agi between larva bandu adult formation ಆದರೆ ಲಾರ್ವಾ ಇಂದ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ವಿತೌಟ್ ಲಾರ್ವಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆದರೆ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಅದರ್ ಹೈಯರ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವೇರ್ ವಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಗಿವ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಟು ಯಂಗ್ ಒನ್ಸ್, ಇಸಂಟ್ ಇಟ್? ಸೊ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಎನಿ ಲಾರ್ವಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ತರ ಲಾರ್ವಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಒನ್ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಓವಮ್ ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಜೈಗೋಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಂಬ್ರಿಯೋ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಫೀಟಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಬೇಬಿ ಆರ್ ಎನ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ delivered, isn't it, without any larval forms. But if you see any other animals like butterflies or insects, or for example silk moth, where you will find another stage, intermediate stage, that is what is called as a larva, isn't it? So in such cases it is said to be the indirect development. If there is a larval stage idaga indirect development. If there is no larval stage, it is said to be a direct development, okay. So that is the basic features of the animals or characters of the animals, okay. So then let us look into the basis for classification of animals. ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ನ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? The basis for classification of animals. On what basis we classify the animals? Okay, what is the criteria? Basis of classification. You know that there are different groups in animals also. The kingdom Animalia is further divided into nearly major 10 divisions, isn't it? The phylums. So again they were further divided into class, order, family. Likewise, similarly, then what is the basis for that classification? ಏನು basis ಇದೆ classification ಗೆ? So let us look into that. The basis for classification of animals. So one is, the first thing is grade of organization. The first criteria is grade of organization. Organization. See, grade of organization is nothing but all organisms which attain a similar grade. All organisms, especially the animals, all animals which attain a similar grade, okay, or group of animals which attain a similar grade. ಒಂದು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಲೆವೆಲ್ ನ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ where the animals, some groups of animals which attain some specific organizational levels. Group of animals which attain some specific organizational level. ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ನ ಅಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ that we can see in animals is cellular grade of organization, then tissue grade of organization, then organ grade of organization. or organ system grade of organization. Okay, cellular, tissue, then organ or organ system grade of organization. Cellular organization antandre, this is the most primitive kind of organization that can be seen in animals. Here in this grade, the cells are aggregated together. Cells aggregate agirutte. They are aggregated together but not forming a tissue. Remember, here there is no tissue formation. No tissue. The cells which aggregate together but without forming a tissue. Hence, the cells are working independently. They are working independently without any coordination. ಇಲ್ಲಿ cells ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ coordination ಇರಲ್ಲ. Suppose if we take any higher animal, or any organ system ಅಥವಾ organ grade of organization ಇದ್ರೆ, there is a coordination between the organs which are working together, isn't it? So all of the organs which are found in our body, they are working in coordination. But when it considered as a cellular grade of organization, see here in these animals the cells are aggregated together but without forming a definite tissue. ಇಲ್ಲಿ definite tissue ಅಂತ formation ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ, and the cells are working independently without any coordination or with the least coordination, and they are working independently. They are independent of each other. Such a grade of organization is what is called cellular grade of organization. Okay, and here we can see the example like Porifera, the phylum Porifera, where it exhibits cellular grade of organization. Okay, what is an organization? Some group of animals, they attain an organizational level, that is what is called as a grade. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು grade ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ cellular, tissue, organ. Cellular ಅಂದ್ರೆ tissue formation ಆಗಲ್ಲ, but the cells aggregate together without any coordination or with the least coordination, and they are working independently. Such a grade is what is called as cellular grade of organization. Okay, and the example is Porifera. Okay, so then the next one, the tissue grade of organization. As the name itself suggests, here the cells are aggregated together forming a tissue. What is a tissue? You know that a tissue is a group of similar cells which are performing the same function. A tissue is a group of similar cells which performs the same function. That is what is called as a tissue, isn't it? So here the tissue grade of organization, so where the cells aggregate together and forming a tissue, and here the cells are working in a coordination and they are interdependent on one another. The cells are working in coordination and they are interdependent on one another, forming a tissue, and such a grade of organization is what is called as tissue grade of organization. Okay, and that can be seen in phylum like Coelenterata. Can be seen in the phylum like Coelenterata or Cnidaria. Okay, so the tissue grade can be seen in phylum like Coelenterata or Cnidaria. Okay, then the next grade is organ or organ system grade of organization. Okay, so here the tissues, many kinds of tissues which aggregated together, which are arranged themselves together forming an organ. What is an organ? An organ is a group of tissue, group of similar tissues which perform the same function, isn't it? A tissue is a group of similar cells perform same function, it is a tissue. An organ is a group of similar tissue perform the similar function, that is what is called as an organ. Here these animals are more advanced when compared to the tissue grade or when compared to the cellular grade of organization. Here definite organs which are performed or which are formed to perform definite function, isn't it? Like kidney, that is mainly perform excretion, like the heart, mainly responsible for circulation, pumping the blood. Similarly, the lungs, mainly responsible for exchange of gases, the oxygen and the carbon dioxide, isn't it? The brain, it is mainly sensory in function, so it controls all overall activities of the body. Likewise, there are different organs in the body, it may be human being or it may be any other animal. So where, especially the higher animals, where we can see the organs in the body, the definite organs which are produced in the body. Such a grade or level is what is called as organ grade of organization. Definite organs and organ systems that can be seen in these, that is what is called as organ grade of organization. Okay, so that from the Annelida, okay, from the Annelida, then the next phylum, the other phylums like Mollusca or Echinodermata or Chordata, so all of those, they show some definite organs in their body. That is what is called as organ system grade of organization. Okay, so this is the grade of organization. Okay, then next thing is about the body layers. About the body layers. The next category is about the body layers. How many body layers are present? ಸಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಬಾಡಿ ಲೇಯರ್. ಏನು ಬಾಡಿ ಲೇಯರ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಬಾಡಿ ಲೇಯರ್? ಬಾಡಿ ಲೇಯರ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಆನ್ ಎಂಬ್ರಿಯೋ, ಒಂದು ಎಂಬ್ರಿಯೋ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ there are sequences of stages which comes during the development of an embryo, a proper embryo. Like zygote irutte, you know, all animals are sexually reproducing. Okay, there will be a zygote, and zygote that develops into embryo. You know, during that development there are several stages like morula or blastula, then gastrula. These are different stages of development ನಾವು ನೋಡಬಹುದು. ಮಾರುಲಾ, ಬ್ಲಾಸ್ಟುಲಾ, ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ಟ್ರುಲಾ ಅಥವಾ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ಟ್ರುಲೇಷನ್, ಬ್ಲಾಸ್ಟುಲೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನಾವು ನೋಡಬಹುದು. ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ the animal, especially during the gastrulation, they possess germ layers. Gastrulation ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ they possess germ layers. What is this germ layer? ಏನಿದು germ layer ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ? A germ layer is a one. This is an embryonic layer having the ability to give rise to organs, definite organs and definite tissues. In later embryo development, further development ಆಗ್ತಾ ಒಂದೊಂದು germ layer ಇಂದ ಒಂದೊಂದು ತರ organ systems development ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. So like that, ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm ಅಂತ ಮೂರು germ layers ನ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. Okay, ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm, ಮೂರು germ layers ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Usually if the animals, if they are having all the three germ layers, they are said to be triploblastic animals. Triploblastic, ಮೂರು germ layer ಇರುತ್ತೆ. If only two germ layer is present, they are said to be diploblastic animals. But what is the function of a germ layer? You remember, this is a layer having the ability to generate the organs or organ systems, and definite tissues will be developed from these germ layers. Okay, and they were found in the gastrula. They get modified, they get converted into, they get developed into various tissues and various organs later on. That's why they have the potency, they have the capacity to generate. That's why they are said to be the germ layers. If the animals are possessing only two germ layers, ಎರಡೇ germ layers ಇದೆ animals ಅಲ್ಲಿ. If an animal that is possessing only two germ layers, they are what is called as diploblastic animals. If the animals which possess only two layers, ಎರಡೇ layer ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಾವೇನಂತೀವಿ diploblastic animal ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Okay, so for example like Coelenterata and other animals where they possess only two germ layers, ಎರಡೇ germ layers ಇರುತ್ತೆ. One is the ectoderm. Okay, one is an ectoderm, another one is an endoderm. Ectoderm and the endoderm. So like Platyhelminthes, okay, where they possess only two germ layers, ectoderm and the endoderm. So in between this, okay, for example, in between these two layers, there is a presence of a gelatinous matrix. ಇದ್ರ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು gelatinous matrix ತರ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪರೆಂಟ್ ಲೇಯರ್ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, gelatinous matrix ತರ. That is what is called as a mesoglia. That is regarded as a mesoglia. The animals with only two germ layers, ಎರಡೇ germ layer ಇದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ectoderm, endoderm ಎರಡೇ germ layer ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ diploblastic animals ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. In between the ectoderm and the endoderm, there is a gelatinous layer or a gelatinous matrix is present, and that is what is called as a mesoglia. ಅದನ್ನ mesoglia ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Okay, and they are the diploblastic animals. So whereas the animals with the three germ layers, ಮೂರು germ layers ಇದೆ, such animals are said to be triploblastic animals. The animals with the three germ layers, ಮೂರು germ layers ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಾವೇನಂತೀವಿ triploblastic animals ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ they possess an ectoderm, an endoderm and a mesoderm. They possess all the three germ layers like ectoderm, then mesoderm and endoderm. They possess all the three layers, ectoderm, mesoderm and the endoderm. Such animals are said to be triploblastic animals. The higher animals like Arthropoda, Echinodermata, Mollusca, then Chordata, all those animals which are triploblastic in nature. It means they possess three germ layers, ಮೂರು germ layers ನ possess ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದೊಂದು germ layer ಇಂದ ಒಂದೊಂದು tissues, organs development ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so such animals are said to be triploblastic animals. Then so animals based on the body layer, they may be diploblastic or they may be triploblastic. Then the next feature of the animals is the body plan. The next feature is body plan. It means the body plan means how the body parts which are arranged in an animal, the arrangement of body parts in an animal. Body parts animal alli yav tara arrange agide annadana body plan anta kariತೀವಿ. Okay, so in body plan where we can see three basic types of body plan. ನಾವು ಮೂರು basic type body plan ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡಬಹುದು. Okay, So one is the blind sac body plan, and another one is tube within tube body plan. So ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಸೆಲ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಗೇಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್. ಸೊ ಬ್ಲೈಂಡ್ ಸ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಬರೋದು ಸೆಲ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಗೇಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೆಲ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಗೇಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್, ದೆನ್ ಬ್ಲೈಂಡ್ ಸ್ಯಾಕ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್, ದೆನ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ವಿತಿನ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೂರು ತರ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ನ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ನಾವು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ the cell aggregate plan, the first one ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾನು cellular grade of organization ಅಂತ, isn't it? Porifera members ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So this kind of body plan that can be seen in porifera members, where the cells are aggregated here but without forming any tissue. The cells aggregate without forming any tissue, and there is no coordination or with the very least coordination that can be seen in these animals or between the cells. That is what is called as a cell aggregate plan. ಅಂದ್ರೆ cells aggregate ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, cells ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ತರ coordination ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ತುಂಬಾ very least coordination observe ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. So then they are working independently. The cells are working independently. Such a body plan is what is called as cell aggregate body plan. ಅದನ್ನ cell aggregate plan ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Okay, then the next one is what is called as blind sac body plan. Blind sac. See, in this method, in this body plan, where an animal interact with the exterior, it communicate with the exterior and the surrounding environment, surrounding place ellirutha animal adu, it communicate with the exterior by means of a single opening. If only one opening is found in an animal, if the animal it communicates with the exterior by means of a single opening, such a single opening that communicates with the exterior, okay, and that can act as both the mouth as well as anus. A single opening that can act as a mouth as well as anus. Andre the entry of the food through that same opening, and also the exit of the food that also takes place through the same opening. The entry of the food and the exit of the undigested food material, means the excretory matter, that also exited through the same opening. Andre onde opening irutte that can act as a mouth and that can act as a anus. Such a body plan is said to be blind sac body plan. That can be seen in phylums like Coelenterata and the Cnidaria. So where they have a single opening where the mouth as well as the anus, the opening that can act as a mouth or a anus. So that is what is called as a blind sac body plan. Okay, then the next one is tube within tube body plan. This is somewhat advanced. Tube within tube, somewhat advanced animals. Tube within tube body plan. See here, where the body plan or the arrangement of the organs, it is similar, just like how a larger tube that encloses a smaller tube. Suppose if you kept the containers, the smaller and the larger containers, so one within the other. So usually you kept the smaller container within the larger container, isn't it? So just like how one small tube is inserted inside a large tube. So such kind of arrangement is said to be tube within tube body plan. So ಯಾವ ತರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ tube within tube body plan ಅಂದ್ರೆ, you know that an animal is having a body wall. An animal will possess a body wall. Along with the body wall, where the animal in between the body wall and that, within that it possesses a digestive system. The body wall and the digestive system. Okay, so ಈ ಬಾಡಿ ವಾಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಾಡಿ ವಾಲ್ ನ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, okay, suppose if the body wall is the outer tube, within that we have digestive system, isn't it? So where that starts from the mouth and ends with the anus. These animals basically they are having two openings. One is the mouth and another one is an anus. Basically they have two openings, the mouth and the anus. One is for the entry of the food and another one is for the egestion of the undigested food. So whereas they possess two openings, the mouth and the anus, but you remember in blind sac only one opening is present. Here the two openings will communicate with the exterior. One is for the entry of the food, another one is for the exit of the undigested food. So how the body is arranged here or planned here? So one is a body wall, that is a larger tube, within that there is a digestive tract, isn't it? And there is a gap between the body wall and the digestive tract, isn't it? That is what is called as a coelom. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವೇನಂತೀವಿ coelom ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅದನ್ನ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಬಟ್ ಈ ತರ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು ಲಾರ್ಜರ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅದರೊಳಗಡೆ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್, ಈ ತರ ಅರೇಂಜ್. ಲಾರ್ಜರ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಾಡಿ ವಾಲ್, ಅದರೊಳಗಡೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟಿವ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅದು, isn't it? Such a kind of arrangement is what is called as tube within tube arrangement. Okay, so where one is a mouth, another one is an anus. So in this tube within tube arrangement, where we can see ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ತರ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ನ ನೋಡಬಹುದು. ಒಂದನ್ನು ನಾವು protostomes ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. There are two groups can be seen here. One is protostomes, another one is deuterostomes. Protostomes, another one is deuterostomes. Protostomes and deuterostomes. Okay, see protostomes ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ where proto means early, stoma means mouth. Here the mouth develops first. Mouth develops first. ಈ animals ಅಲ್ಲಿ first mouth development ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, later followed by the development of the anus. Okay, so protostomes, proto means early, stoma means protostomes. Protostomes, proto means early, then stoma means the mouth. Here the mouth develops first. Andre here an opening what is called as a blastopore. Blastopore is nothing but an opening found in the blastula or in the embryo. An opening what is called as a blastopore. The blastopore that develops into mouth. ಈ blastopore ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ mouth ಆಗಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. And the anus is developed from the other opening or a new opening. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೊಸ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಇಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ anus ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. The anus is developed from a new opening. Such animals are said to be protostomes. ಅಂತ animals ನ protostomes ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. The primitive animals. Okay, so like the Aschelmanthus. So where what is a protostome? Where the protostome, the blastopore becomes a mouth, and whereas the anus developed from a new opening. ಹೊಸ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಇಂದ anus develop ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? protostomes ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Okay, on the other hand, the other group, as I said, the deuterostomes. Deutero means second. Deuterostome means, deutero means second. It means mouth develops later. Mouth develops later. Stoma means mouth, as I said. Deutero means second, or mouth develop later. So remember the blastopore. That here the blastopore that develops in, blastopore means which is already found during the development of the embryo. Okay, blastopore that develops into anus here. So where in protostomes the blastopore that develops into mouth, here the blastopore that develops into anus. And whereas the mouth is developed from a new opening, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು opening formation ಆಗಿ ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ mouth development ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Mouth is developed from a new opening, and the blastopore that develops into, pore ಅಂದ್ರೆ opening ಅಂತ. Okay, the blastopore that develops into anus, and mouth that develops from a new opening. So where in protostomes the mouth develops first, the blastopore that converted into mouth, that develops into mouth, and anus is developed from the new opening. But here in case of deuterostomes, the blastopore becomes the anus, and the mouth that develops from a new opening. That is what is called as a deuterostome. So all other higher animals like echinoderms, chordates, then other animals, the higher animals, arthropods, where we can see the blastopore that develops into anus and mouth is developed from the new opening. Such animals are said to be deuterostomes. Avana deuterostomes anta kareeತಾರೆ. Okay, then the next character of considered for classifying the animals is the symmetry. Is the symmetry of the animals. Symmetry is nothing but the shape of the body of an animal. ಒಂದು animal ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಬಾಡಿ ಶೇಪ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಇದೆ. Okay, and in what direction the animal can be cut into two equal halves. ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎರಡು ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Basically the shape of the body. That is nothing but the symmetry. See, some of the animals that do not show any definite shape. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು animals ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ತರ definite shape ಇರಲ್ಲ. For example, some corals and the porifera members, the sponges, they do not show any definite shape. ಈ animal ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಇದೇ ತರ ಒಂದು definite shape ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಇರಲ್ಲ. Some animals ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ, so where the body parts which are arranged on a central axis, ಒಂದು central axis ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ central axis ಸುತ್ತ body plan arrange, body organs, suppose if this is considered as a central axis, ಅದು ಸುತ್ತ ಬಾಡಿ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆದಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಹೌ ದ ಸ್ಪೋಕ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಎ ಬೈಸಿಕಲ್ ವೀಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೋಕ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಆ ತರ ಒಂದು ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಸುತ್ತ ಬಾಡಿ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಆಂಟೀರಿಯರ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟೀರಿಯರ್ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ in a definite axis like the human beings. So where the body organs, in human beings which are arranged in a definite axis, that is from anterior to posterior direction, isn't it? So and such animals when we cut, cut andre cut ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲ, the plane of division ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು. So where it gives two equal halves, ಎರಡು equal mirror images ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಒಂಥರ ಸಿಮೆಟ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ನ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಎರಡು ಮಿರರ್ ಇಮೇಜಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನದರ್ ಕೈಂಡ್. So that is what is called as a symmetry or a shape anta ಕರೀತೀವಿ. So based on that, the animals are of three kinds here. One is asymmetrical animals. Based on the symmetry, animals are of three types here. Asymmetrical animals. Okay, then the other animals like radially symmetrical, then bilaterally symmetrical. There are three kinds of symmetry can be observed based on the shape of the body or based on the symmetry: asymmetrical, radially symmetrical, and bilaterally symmetrical. See the first one, asymmetrical animals. avagale helide nanu, these animals they do not show any definite symmetry, because symmetry andre plane of division anta. Okay, because they do not have a definite shape. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದೇ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಶೇಪ್ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. They do not possess a definite shape. Such animals are said to be asymmetrical animals. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ plane of division ಇಂದ ನಾವು animals ನ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು it doesn't give equal half ಬರಲ್ಲ. Such animals are said to be asymmetrical animals because the body do not possess a definite shape ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ. Such animals are said to be asymmetrical. For example, like sponges are the members of Porifera. Okay, so where they are asymmetrical in nature. Then the radially symmetrical animals ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾನು. So where in these animals the body parts which are arranged along the central axis, ಒಂದು central axis ಸುತ್ತ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಬಾಡಿ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ಸ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. The body parts which are arranged around a central axis, ಒಂದು central axis ಸುತ್ತ ಬಾಡಿ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. So suppose ಯಾವ ತರ, that is just like the ಅವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ the spokes on a bicycle wheel. Just like spokes on a bicycle wheel. Suppose if you cut this one, it can give equal half from any plane of division, isn't it? So from if you cut in anterior to posterior direction also, it will give equal half. If you cut in this direction also, that will give equal half. If you cut in this direction also, it will give equal half, isn't it? So where from anterior to posterior direction or in this direction or whatever the plane of division is, where it will give the equal half. Okay. So such animals are said to be radially symmetrical animals, where an animal that can give equal half in any plane, just like how the spokes which are arranged in a bicycle wheel. So where you can cut the animal into two equal halves from any plane. Such animals are said to be radially symmetrical animal. ಯಾಕೆ ಆ ತರ ಪಾಸಿಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಸುತ್ತ ಬಾಡಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅನಿಮಲ್ ನ ಯಾವ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Such animals are said to be radially symmetrical animals. So example like the members, what is called as coelenterata. So in that, for example, like C anemone. So where it will give two equal half. Okay. Then the next one is the bilaterally symmetrical animal. So bilaterally symmetrical animal, bilaterally symmetrical animals. See, in these animals the body can be divided into, suppose if I consider a human being, the body can be divided into two equal halves from anterior to posterior direction. Body that can be divided into two equal halves from anterior to posterior direction. ಅಂದ್ರೆ anterior ಇಂದ posterior direction ಗೆ ನಾವು animal ನ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ it will give two equal halves. ಎರಡು equal half ಬರುತ್ತೆ. And another very important thing, both the halves are identical to each other, which are mirror images of each other. Both the halves which are mirror images of each other, and it can be cut into two equal halves from anterior to posterior direction. ಈ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಎರಡು ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಎರಡು ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಮಿರರ್ ಇಮೇಜಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು the left half and the body of the animal, it can be divided into left and right, isn't it? It can be divided into left and the right. So likewise, such a symmetry, those animals which possess that kind of symmetry is what is called as bilaterally symmetrical animals, where the body can be cut or divided into two equal halves, two equal mirror images, and where we can see ಎರಡು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ನೋಡಬಹುದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಆಂಟೀರಿಯರ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪೋಸ್ಟೀರಿಯರ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಎರಡು ಎಂಡ್ಸ್ ನ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಬೈಲಾಟರಲ್ ಸಿಮೆಟ್ರಿಕಲ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದ ಆಂಟೀರಿಯರ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಪೋಸ್ಟೀರಿಯರ್ ಎಂಡ್ and the left and the right side, that can be also measured. Such animals are said to be bilaterally symmetrical animals. From Annelida to the other all higher animals like Arthropoda, then Echinodermata, then the chordate animals, even the human beings. So where we exhibit bilateral symmetry, okay? Okay, and even the human beings also, where we exhibit bilateral symmetry, isn't it? And the anterior end to the posterior end, so left side and the right side, isn't it? So if we cut in this direction, in anterior to posterior angle, the body is divided into two equal halves. So that is what is called as the bilateral symmetry. Okay. So where based on this, the bilateral symmetry, where especially the bilaterally symmetrical organisms, where they possess another character. So that is also one of the basis for classification of animals. That is what is called as cephalization. Cephalization. Okay. What is this cephalization? ಏನು cephalization ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ concentration of sensory organs. Concentration of sensory organs. Sensory organs at the anterior end. At the anterior end, the concentration of sensory organs at the anterior end. For example, ಈಗ human beings ನ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವೇನು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ majority of the sensory organs, the most important sensory organs which are concentrated at the anterior end, isn't it? The eyes, the nose, the tongue, then the ears, isn't it? Major sensory organs which are concentrated at the anterior end ಅಲ್ಲಿ concentrate ಆಗಿದೆ, especially in bilaterally symmetrical organisms, where the sensory organs which are concentrated to the anterior end, andre like head portion. Okay, so that is what is called as cephalization anta karite. It helps the animals to move in a particular direction. ಒಂದು ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ where cephalization is very much necessary. Suppose ಈಗ ನಾವೇ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ we can move in this direction only, front wise direction ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಬಹುದು. We cannot move like this because we do not have eyes behind, isn't it? ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಐಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಇದು ಆಂಟೀರಿಯರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ನಾವು. Suppose if you observe any animal which is crawling and having the sensory organs towards its anterior end, it is moving only in anterior direction. Anterior end direction ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಸೆನ್ಸರಿ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಯಾವುದೋ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಒಂದು ಟೇಪರಿಂಗ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ದ ಸ್ನೇಕ್, isn't it? It can move in this direction only. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್? ಆಂಟೀರಿಯರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪೋಸ್ಟೀರಿಯರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಹೆಡ್ ಏನಿದೆ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಂಟೀರಿಯರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್, ಟೈಲ್ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸ್ನೇಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಪೋಸ್ಟೀರಿಯರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್ ಮೂವ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಟೈಲ್, ಟೈಲ್ ಇಂದ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅದು. ಇಟ್ ಮೂವ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಹೆಡ್. ಯಾಕೆ? ಸೆನ್ಸರಿ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇಟ್ ಲುಕ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಮೂವ್, isn't it? So by that an animal where the sensory organs located at the anterior end, it mainly helps in the movement and the sense, various sense. So that is what is called as cephalization. Is nothing but the concentration of sensory organs at the anterior end, especially in bilaterally symmetrical animals. That is what is regarded as a cephalization. Okay, then the next thing is about the one of the important thing for classification is the presence or absence of the coelom. Is the presence or absence of the coelom. Okay, so what is a coelom? A coelom is nothing but a body cavity. The presence or absence of the coelom. What is a coelom? A coelom is nothing but a body cavity. Body cavity ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಿದೆ? The gap between the body wall and the alimentary canal. The space between the body wall and the alimentary and the digestive system. The space between the body wall and the alimentary canal is what is called as a coelom. ಅದನ್ನ coelom ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Suppose if I consider this one as alimentary canal, this is a body wall and this one is also the body wall. So between the body wall, there will be an alimentary canal. ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ? alimentary canal ಅಥವಾ digestive canal ಇದೆ. ಈ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ between the body wall and the alimentary canal, that space, the central gap between them is what is regarded as a coelom. ಅದನ್ನ coelom ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. So coelom presence or absence basis ಮೇಲೆ animals ನ ನಾವು like acoelomates, then pseudocoelomates and eucoelomates ಅಥವಾ coelomates ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Eucoelomates or coelomates. There are three categories can be classified like acoelomates, pseudocoelomates, then eucoelomates or coelomates. ಮೂರು ತರ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. As the name itself indicate, acoelomates ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ they do not possess a body cavity. ಈ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಡಿ ಕ್ಯಾವಿಟಿ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಕ್ಯಾವಿಟಿ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಬಾಡಿ ವಾಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟರಿ ಕೆನಾಲ್. ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟರಿ ಕೆನಾಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಾಡಿ ವಾಲ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ತರ ಕ್ಯಾವಿಟಿ ಅಥವಾ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. Such animals are said to be acoelomate animals. They do not possess coelom or body cavity. One marks ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, what is the coelom? Okay, coelom is nothing but the body cavity. The gap between the body wall and the elementary canal is what is called as a coelom. So these animals they which do not possess any coelom, such animals are said to be acoelomate animals. Okay, then for example like Platyhelminthes. Okay, where the pseudocoelomate animals. Here these animals which possess a body cavity, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ body cavity ಇರುತ್ತೆ. They possess a body cavity, but the body cavity is not lined by or not derived from, or the coelom is not derived from, it is not derived from the mesoderm. So you remember the three germ layers, the ectoderm, endoderm and the mesoderm. Okay, so usually the coelom is developed by the splitting up of the mesoderm. Mesoderm split agi coelom development agutade. Remember the three germ layers, the ectoderm, then the endoderm, and in between that there is a mesoderm. ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತದ್ದೇನು mesoderm. If the coelom is developed by the splitting, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ mesoderm split ಆಗಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ the coelom is developed by the splitting up of the mesoderm split up ಆಗಿ ಇದು ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ coelom ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಟ್ರೂ coelom ಅಥವಾ eucoelomates ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. ಆದರೆ here the coelom is not developed by splitting up of the mesoderm. ಈ mesoderm split ಆಗಿ coelom development ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, such coelomates are said to be pseudocoelomate animals. ಅಂದ್ರೆ it cannot be considered as a true coelom. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಟ್ರೂ coelom ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ mesoderm ಇಂದ ಆರಿಜಿನ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು. Such animals are said to be pseudocoelomate animals. For example, Aschelminthes. Okay, Aschelminthes example for pseudocoelomates. Then the eucoelomate animals. So you means true. The animals which are having a true coelom. ಯಾವ animals ಅಲ್ಲಿ true coelom ಇದೆಯೋ, true coelom, the animals which are having true coelom, such animals are said to be eucoelomates. True coelom ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Here the coelom is developed from splitting up of the mesoderm. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ coelom ಯಾವ್ದ್ರಿಂದ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ? mesoderm ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಗಿ ಆ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಯಾವಿಟಿ ಅಥವಾ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಥರ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು eucoelomates ಅಥವಾ ಟ್ರೂ coelomates ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Where the animal with the possess a true coelom means here the mesoderm, the coelom is produced by the splitting up of the mesoderm. Such coelomates are said to be eucoelomate animals. The other animals like Annelida, Arthropoda, Echinodermata, then Chordata, all animals where they are eucoelomates in nature. Okay, so this is about the coelom or the body cavity. There are three groups: acoelomate, pseudocoelomate and eucoelomates. Okay, then the next thing is the metamerism or segmentation. The next character is metamerism or segmentation. See, metamerism or segmentation is nothing but the serial repetition of the body parts. Serial repetition of the body parts. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಬಾಡಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಸೀರಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. The serial repetition of the body parts is what is called as metamerism or segmentation. Okay, so for example human beings ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ the muscles and the bones are the vertebrae which are serially repeated, isn't it? muscles ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ next ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿದೆ, muscles repeat ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿದೆ. Similarly the bones, then vertebrae in the vertebral column, so they were repeated. The serial repetition of the similar body parts is what is called as metamerism or segmentation. And each segment, that is what is called as a metamer. ಪ್ರತಿ ಸೆಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಮೆಟಾಮಿಯರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ Annelida ನೋಡಬಹುದು ನೀವು. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸಿ ಎ earthworm, so where you can clearly see many segments on its surface on the body, isn't it? So clear segmentation that can be seen. What is a segmentation or a metamerism here? So where the serial repetition of the similar body parts is what is called as segmentation or metamerism. So where you can clearly see the segments where the similar body parts which are repeated here, that is what is called as the metamerism or the segmentation. So that can be seen from Annelida, Arthropoda, then Echinodermata, then Chordata, the human beings. So where, but the lower animals like Porifera and the coelenterate animals, they do not show segmentation or metamerism. But the other animals from the Annelida, they show metamerism or the segmentation. Okay, so these are some of the basis for classification of the animals. So where in this you have studied about the grade of organization. Okay, so then the body plan, then the coelom, then the metamerism or the segmentation, then cephalization, isn't it? Then the symmetry of the body. So all these are considered as basis for classification of the animals. Okay. So where we see that the classification of animals, if we classify by considering all these points, idelladaನ್ನ consider ಮಾಡಿ classify ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ preliminary R.H. Whittaker, he classified the animals into 26 phyla. R.H. Whittaker classified animal kingdom into 26 phylum, 26 phylum ಆಗಿ classify ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. But later on the modern biologists, they classified animals by considering all those evolutionary point and developmental point of view. Main classification ಮಾಡಿರೋದು developmental point of view ಇಂದ. On developmental point of view, the animal kingdom is broadly classified into 10 major phylum. 10 major phylums ಆಗಿ classify ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. But earlier Whittaker classified into 26 phylum. But later on the modern biologists, they classified into 10 major phylum. Okay, so the kingdom Animalia or Metazoa, the kingdom Animalia or Metazoa, it is broadly classified into, suppose if we consider the grade of organization, you know, the cellular grade of organization, then here on the other side the tissue grade or organ grade or organ system grade of organization. Organ system, the tissue grade, organ grade and organ system grade of organization on the other hand. Metazoa is nothing but the kingdom Animalia. So cellular grade of organization, that includes only one phylum, that is nothing but the phylum Porifera. That includes only one phylum, that is phylum Porifera. So where this one, the tissue or organ system grade of organization, so where that includes the two ones, that is radiata and bilateria. Radiata and bilateria, there are two, that is based on the symmetry. Radiata and bilateria, based on the symmetry. The animals which is showing having tissue grade of organization or organ grade of organization showing radial symmetry, they are considered as radiata. Having organ or organ system grade of organization or tissue grade of organization having bilateral symmetry, they are called as bilateria. Okay, so the radiata, that includes a phylum like the two phylums here, one is Coelenterata and another one is Ctenophora, and the phylum Ctenophora. Coelenterata and Ctenophora. Whereas this bilateria is subdivided into, based on the coelom ಮೇಲೆ divide ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ acoelomates, then pseudocoelomates, then eucoelomates. Acoelomates, pseudocoelomates and eucoelomates. Yadana the division, the group bilateria can be further subdivided into acoelomates, pseudocoelomates and eucoelomates. Acoelomates, for example, a phylum like Platyhelminthes. Then pseudocoelomates includes Aschelminthes. ಅವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾನು, Aschelminthes. Whereas the eucoelomate, that includes from Annelida, ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ from Annelida to Chordata. Annelida ಇಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು Chordata ವರೆಗೂ ಯಾವುದು, that is eucoelomates, from Annelida to Chordata. Okay, so this is how the kingdom Animalia was classified. The Metazoa or the kingdom Animalia broadly classified based on the grade of organization into cellular grade and tissue or organ system grade of organization. Cellular grade alli onde phylum barudu, that is Porifera. Again tissue, organ system grade of organization, so where the animals are categorized into two groups like radiata and bilateria, that is based on the symmetry. Again the radiata, there are two phylums which are included in radiata, one is Coelenterata, another one is Ctenophora. And whereas in bilateria the animals were classified based on the coelom, so where they were classified into acoelomates, pseudocoelomates and eucoelomates. So acoelomata includes Platyhelminthes, Pseudocoelomata include Aschelminthes. Then Eucoelomata or true coelomata includes Annelida to the animals ranging from Annelida to Chordata. Okay, so this is about the classification of the animal kingdom, and where you have studied about the basis for classification of kingdom Animalia, isn't it? So in next video we will start up with the phylums like Porifera. We'll start with the Porifera and other phylums. Okay, so this is all about the today's video. The characters or criteria for classification of animals and the overview of classification of the animals. Okay, so next begin with the phylums in the next video. Okay, thank you.